In an undisclosed location, somewhere deep in the world, there exists a team so secret even they are unaware of themselves. Also in this undisclosed location, somewhere in the world, experiments are performed with highly trained professionals of monumental risk. These experiments involve the use of plastic Gundam models, otherwise known as Gunpla. They are the Gunpla Test Team, and this is their story.
Welcome to the Gunpla Test Team. I'm Jonathan. My handle on BFS is Paptimus Prime.
My name is Joe, and my BFS handle is Joe.
I am the Mexicanist of the group. My name is Jose, and my handle is And the Hero is.
I am the Black Reed. My handle on BFS is Hamicus III.
So, I wanted to do a quick history on BFS. So, a couple years ago, I think it was like three years ago at this point, Nitro Typat and Argent Lai created a build fight system. And originally, it was just you build your suit, you give it some stats, and then you roll a d20 against each other 5 turns, and you see what happens. And then an RP is written from that. At this point, we've gone through a couple different iterations of the system, some better than others. Current point, we're at Neon Light Illusion, another member of our podcast that hopefully will be on sometime. He's not too British. Has taken it upon himself to write the current rules for the system, which works really well. We are now able to do matches that are 15 minutes long instead of an hour to an hour and a half long. And it's pretty fun. So that is what BFS is. You build your real-world suit, you give it stats, and then you battle it against everyone else. And depending on how pretty it is, it might be better than other suits.
So currently in BFS, we have a group build going on that's going to be ending at the end of July, beginning of August.
End of August.
Oh, end of August. Which is Ayug versus Titans.
Tetons.
Les
You gotta say it like that. Tetons.
Les Titans.
Let's face it,
Let's
people are
have fun.
scared to paint white, so
I'm not.
I'm
You guys
not
are
either.
bitches.
I think we're the only two doing AU.
I mean, I'm not going white though, but you know, never go white.
But yeah, so we have a lot of group builds and contests in our little group here. And by little, I mean we get new people every day now, it seems like. But
We've had contests pretty consistently since the last one.
Well, it was pretty much once I did my contest last year, I kind of wanted to keep things going because I felt like it at least kept people engaged for something for 3 to 4 or 5 months at a time, you know, especially considering so many people need that kind of motivation to build or finish something, and it works because people always seem to be interested.
It definitely kept a lot of people focused.
that and all the trash talk.
Oh yeah, the trash talk, but I mean, in the end, the person who doesn't trash talk ends up winning. So you know, that's how that goes.
But yeah, so that's the current group build. You know, it was just something made because people couldn't decide, so we made a poll, and that's what came out on top. We almost had what did we almost have? Shitty MSVs. Oh, that would have been really bad.
That would have been awful.
Whatever
I don't
the
think
other
anyone
one
would have wanted
was,
to do
it's
that.
the one I wanted to do.
And let's face it, if me and Joe weren't doing AUG builds, then it'd just be a Titan.
It'd be a
build.
Titan group
Yeah,
build.
100%.
Well, who the fuck wants to do the AU? The AU's lame. Fuck.
AUG's awesome.
The Anchor heroes. who
I
don't
would have.
Uh,
gas
I was going
planets at a
to
time.
do. Yeah.
Terrorist. We spell hero differently.
I wish Kakarkon Kekuler was my father.
If I would have done
I
an
mean,
AU build,
I wish Hammond Karn was my father, but that's a different thing.
that's
The right thing.
that is the woman god though.
Actually, I wish we could have had Xeon in that part too, but you know, that's whatever.
Kakarkon Ecto Cooler.
My favorite terrorist and drink of the 90s.
How alcoholic is it?
0. It's fucking high C.
I just assumed it was spiked.
Just
Jesus Christ.
like someone spiked the high C.
I mean, I'd spike my own high C.
3 to 5 months is a pretty reasonable like time constraint. You want to
You would think.
say, right, to get people building? Because I mean,
You would think that.
You would think 3 to 5 months is enough.
You would think that. Some people look at me like I'm insane when I tell them, yeah, we got. And they're like, what? What do you mean 3 months? I'm like, yeah, 3 months. 3 months is plenty of time to build something.
To be fair, it depends on when 3 months is. If it's 3 months in the summer, sure. If it's 3 months in like fall or something when everyone's back in class,
Yeah.
it's a little harder.
Or if it's just 3 months being Andy, then it's always hard.
Oh,
but at the same time, like, what are you measuring though, right? Because 3 months, you build an HG kit in a weekend and paint in different colors. You have yourself a custom, right? At the basis level.
Yeah, at the basis level.
So
like,
that's what, 2 weekends, 3 weekends maybe.
If that. Yeah. Exactly.
there
Yeah.
also have been prizes for contests, though, so that's added motivation.
I mean,
Well,
also the motivation of crushing your enemies between your feet, or beneath your feet. Sorry. I'm
I mean,
not saying who.
I guess you can crush them between your feet, right? Like you're making wine.
I was thinking more like a foot job, but that's fine.
All right. So we have a little feature, a little designer feature, where once a month, when we record the podcast, we'll do a special feature on one of the mechanical designers who illustrates and comes up with ideas for suit design. This one in particular is Kenki Fuijoka, which is responsible for Seed Destiny, Igloo, and Advance of Zeta, as well as the Reboot series.
So this man is my father. He creates my favorite.
That's why he's not around.
Oh, damn. He creates some of my favorite designs, bar none. Like, that man touches pen to paper or mouse to screen and makes magic, as far as I'm concerned. Like, he could probably paint anything and I'd be happy with it.
His designs are always super fucking cool.
Yeah, Fuijoka is fucking godlike on paper.
Like, granted, it took me a while to warm up to age suits, but now that I'm, more acclimated to them, I guess you could say, they're super cool. I absolutely love the Age Fortress. Unfortunately, that's not one that I'm going to be talking about.
He did the fortress?
I think he did.
I don't think he did Age.
I'm thinking about someone else then.
I think so.
My bad.
He only did
Right, I'm not the only one that didn't do my
he only did the
I did-
AOZs and Seed Destiny.
I usually do half my homework.
the Igloos. All the
Yeah,
Igloos.
this is Jose. It's his first week with, I think it's called Gundam.
It's my first week on the job.
It's to be expected. I really like Fuijoka's contours. I think that's what draws me to his design personally. He's got very sharp contours, and even when he makes rounded suits like the rosette, it still looks very sharp and sleek.
That's kind of the reason why they're the two suits that I like out of the three, the Gallus S and the Vanargend. There's basically Xeon suits. And there should be round, but they're just so sleek and angular, even with like the rounded parts. It's just that they're amazing.
He's like magic when it comes to that. He knows how to take It's almost like he was meant to make Titan's designs because he knows how to take something rounded but make sure it still looks angular, make sure it still doesn't look completely Xeon, while still not looking completely Federation. And I think that makes most of the designs extremely gorgeous.
That is very round.
Yeah, that's pretty round, but also mysterious.
Are we looking at the same thing, Joe?
Yeah, the thing I posted.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, the thing you posted.
Definitely the best design of his I've seen so far.
I hate both of you.
I don't know what's going on in this picture, but
It looks like Xeon is winning in that picture to me.
it does.
The classic Xeon alive.
It's a military I'd fight for. What is in the back, though?
That's the rehaze.
That thing is cool.
That thing is cool.
Too bad there isn't a suit of enemies.
Alright,
Okay.
as the biggest A or Z nerd on this podcast, I'm going first.
That's
I've got
fine.
I've
This
got
is
my
fine.
3 suits. You know, I've got Daddy Kenki's best designs, bar none, all day, every day, by myself.
Half price.
So, I picked my 3 favorites. It really actually wasn't that hard for me. I was like, man, what do I even consider like my favorites? And oh wait, never mind. I know what the fuck my favorites are. I own one 10 times,
Oh,
and then I paid for one of them for over $100, and I was like, oh yeah, right.
so how happy are you that I introduced you to the Hazel?
Excuse them.
Wow. Damn.
Introduce who?
I remember looking at it and going, that Gundam has some thick thighs.
So my three suits are the Advanced Hazel, the KHAR-2, and the Hyzak Cannon. And let's break it down. Real quick. So Advanced Hazel, there's like 15 or 20 Hazels. There's like a Hazel for every day of the week and probably half a month at least. But the Advanced Hazel, that's a special one. It's like, let's take the Hazel Custom. Let's take something that already works, already really good looking, super sleek. You know, even though it's bulky, it looks extremely sleek and it looks good. And let's make it even better. Switch out the face, add crotch hands, give it high heels, and really for me, that's like bar none. It's simple as fuck. It is so good. Like, just I could build just a painted Advanced Hazel still, and I'd be happy with it. Like, as long as it was a good paint job, I could be happy, put that on my shelf and be like, yeah, that's probably one of my nicest kits to do.
And hey, you have enough shield boosters just to make it that much faster.
That's right. More shield boosters. Next, my baby boy, you know, as he's been so deemed big dick kid. Dick has broken off multiple times, but every time he comes back,
Harder than ever.
Even harder than before. KHAR-2, the many upgrades to the Woundmort. Woundmort already being a suit that most people enjoy, but the KHAR-2 being like, this is like the pinnacle for me. Big, round, armor thrown on top of them. Really cool transformation, made to look way more like the Ashamar than normal. Which the Ashamar, weird looking like crab suit, love it. And it's just everything about it, like as we've so lovingly called it, his dick, his front protrusion, and his horn. Like I love rounded shoulders. I love everything about the suit. Is like, I could, like, if you gave me the suit and the kit, you could make shitty kits for the life, and I would not. I'd be like, yep, I'm good. I don't need anything else. I've got my big dick boy. Next, last on the list, best on the list is the Hyzak cannon. So outside of AOZ, the Hyzak isn't a piece of shit. Hyzak deserves no. In AOZ, it's like they learned how to make fucking garbage into gold. Because the Hyzak cannon looks so good. They gave it that nice like backpack, like it's wearing like a flotation device almost. It's loaded with ammo. It's got that nice shoulder cannon. The beam rifle legs, like it looks beyond, but it's angled and squared and just barely anything rounded off. The shoulder starts round at top and then just squares off at the bottom, and it's great. Like if I could get a Hyzak cannon kit, I'd be really happy, because that is like one of the best versions of the Hyzak for me, or none.
Well, you could always pay me to make you one. I'm sure there's a resin kit of it.
I really enjoy the Hyzak cannon, actually.
Apart from that, how do you feel about the Hyzak 2 then?
Hyzak 2? Hyzak 2? What are you talking about? The Bizak?
This guy.
No, you're talking about the Woundwort.
Yeah, it's basically just a Woundwort with legs.
Oh no, it's ugly as fuck. Oh god. Listen, I don't know what happened in that stage of development, where they decided the Woundwort needed to be every version of every AOZ suit that they had put out
All at once.
And it was like, I mean, I guess, like, we do that. Make it the Gunpla, even though the is actually really cool. It's really awesome. But
I mean, I think so. The Woundwort is one of the later designs that came out, right? The TR6. At that point in time, I'm sure they were just like, "Hey, Kenki, we need like 20 other suits," and he's like,
he just threw whatever together.
Okay, sure.
What 2 suits haven't I kit bashed yet? And let me draw that.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Joe. Thank you so much.
So that's going to be the cover of our podcast this week, right?
That's a real Kenki right there.
That's what AOZ says to me.
Good shit, Ham. Nice picks. All right.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go. First and foremost, one of my favorite suits of all time is the Fiver, which is the Gunpla on essentially fucking 4 giant boosters that shoot lasers. Because why not? I think my first introduction to the Fiver was through SDG Generation Overworld, and essentially from that moment that I saw it and the movement, I just fell in love instantly. I think I just really like, out of the Advanced Zeta suits, the more mobile armor-ish kits, or suits rather, really draw my attention.
One of the crazy things about the Fiver was, I forget where I found it. It was just like a mechanical design thing, where it essentially explained the Fiver was built to turn the Gunpla into a surface-to-air missile. It was, all that stuff was so they could literally point it up, shoot it through the atmosphere, and drop it down into enemy territory.
That's insane.
That's awesome.
And then it was equipped with all the beam emitters and all that, just in case they tried to shoot it down or anything with missiles. And that is the origin of the Fiver, is to use the Gunpla as a surface-to-air missile.
That's insane.
And just drop it down wherever you needed it.
It's kind of similar to this thing I heard once, where they would just send gold offers over canyons. It's great.
My number 2 pick is the off the reboot series for Advanced Zeta, the El Arrara. Which, looking at this thing, it's an SDF in Gundam form. Like, this thing is totally Macross in Gundam
It's
form.
big as fuck.
I don't know why you would need an oversized gun like that big for anything in the Gundam universe, but yeah, dude, the entire design, and even though it's so big, it still smooths out. It's very proportional, and it's fucking gorgeous. And then lastly, off the reboot as well, just because I like this design more than the original one, is the
The Rehize?
Yeah, the Rehize.
The red one?
Yes.
Oh, that's a beautiful suit.
Yes. And unless I'm wrong, that's a modified Marasai head, no?
I think you are correct.
Like that, like looking at that picture, it just, like, I think, oh, that's a Marasai with Shinanju curves. Yeah, 100%, I'll take it.
Especially all the red.
Yeah. So yeah, those are my 3 picks.
I'll go next. I'll keep it short. I gotta be honest, I don't know too much about Advanced Zeta and all that. But as I look at the designs, like the one you were just talking about, the Marasai head, and then I really like the GM3 sniper, the GM Quell Sniper 3, because they're just, designs that have already existed, but this is like the best of them. So they took something that worked and just made it that much prettier. So those are the suits I end up liking. Plus, I guess anything with tactile scheme is really, really nice.
I really like the red visor on it. Like it.
Oh yeah, is that exam, or is that just a red visor?
Red visor.
Really, really nice.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, like, and it's such a simple design, but it's like it looks really good. Like he knows how to take something as simple as just a GM and make it look amazing.
GMs never looked that good.
Let's not go that far.
Well, those new Build Fighter GMs look pretty sick.
They're so slender.
Slender.
I might have to pick up one of the new ones and turn them into that. Do any of the new GMs come with a GM shield?
Yes, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
GM shield with the yellow part extended as like a spike at the end of the shield, kind of like the strike shield.
The powered GM cardigan. Bunch of them.
All right, Joe, go to your next suit.
That was both.
Both.
It was both. I don't even know what the third one I liked is called.
Talk about not doing homework.
The rosette.
The one with the 2 big back mountain guns.
No, you had what?
That's the
Wait.
second one.
Yeah, what is
one.
that? Tell me what that is.
It's a wound ward. I don't know what. Two.
It's like a special
rifles on the
equipment
back.
room. Wound roar.
Yeah.
No. Well, I guess I'll just say in general the wound ward. What little I've seen about it, hanging out with these guys, is it's as close to a Gundam as you can get, but just like grabbing the
being a
slider. You grab the slider and you pull it just enough to make it uncomfortably different, and that's what happens to it. I like that there seems to be a lot of different, loadouts for it. This is who's the pro tag? This story,
Eliard Hunter.
and who pilots this thing?
A little
Eliard
girl.
Oh, even better. What the hell is Advance of Zeta?
The little girl shit doesn't happen.
They made a lot of little girls and they didn't know what to do with them.
It doesn't happen for like 4 AOV series. You.
You have to meet your lolly quota. I mean,
So
what's
is
Gundam without it?
when you say made them double Zeta,
They
like
well,
where they were just making little girl
yeah,
pilots?
they were just pumping them out.
All right, okay. I mean, it's still more humane than when, you know, dirty orphans pilot your mobile suits.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say it's still more humane than having sex, but you know that's fine too.
Who would ever?
Who dares? Okay, I guess I'll go last then.
Yeah. I had an
So
impressive turn.
my top 3 suits for AOZ are the Gallus S, the Isaac Bannergand, and the Kestrel. So I'll go down the list real quick. Like Joe, I don't know too much about AOZ. I know enough, I guess. Definitely something I would love to read if it ever got translated. But yeah, just like the Gallus S and the Vandergand are just, they're such Xeon suits, and I'm a huge Xeon fanboy. Like I'm a huge fucking shill for them. I don't care. Fuck everyone. But they're just these so angular yet still at the same time Xeon looking suits. You know, they got the Gallus has high heels, which I absolutely love on mechs. It's just something about high heels on mechs is ridiculously hot. Don't ask me why. But it still keeps kind of those
It
Xeon,
makes their legs and butt look great.
I mean, yeah, it just lifts the butt up. And they still got those Xeon curves that I love. And then the Gallus S has the Bruno gun, which is such a beautiful weapon. It's just so simple looking. It's just a giant fucking tube with a radome on it, but it just looks so cool. And then the backpack on it, the huge, like, what are those, like ammo holders or whatever?
I would have
Yeah,
thought they were like fuel tanks, but
they're I believe their fuel tanks are ammo.
So whatever they are, they just look cool. They look cool on any suit that they're ever on.
they hold lotion.
Wonderful, perfect for me. And then the same thing with the Vanner again. It's just everything about it takes the Hyzak and cranks it up to like 11. It just combines all those awesome elements from AOZ, like all the angular surfaces and everything, with those huge Hyzak feet, the slick back Xeon design it's got, and then its ridiculous rifle. It's just so beautiful. And then the Kestrel is really different from the other two, just because it's more Gundam, probably than anything else actually that anyone said, other than the Hazel. But it's got those long bulky legs that look so good, and it's such a ridiculously sleek design. It almost calls back to like the Granddaddy, the RX 178 or 78.
See,
too.
I look at it and I think like refined Alex.
Like I could see that too. It's definitely a simple design, but I think it's just so imposing. So that's why it's on my top 3. So yeah.
I might be looking at the wrong thing. Is the Kestrel the red one that turns into a Roomba?
No,
No, the Kestrel is not a Roomba.
it's the Gundam Kestrel.
Although, speaking of Roombas, I actually really like the Ewak Kehar.
Oh. I've never seen that the Kestrel before. It's nice.
Like,
It's simple.
here,
It's very elegant. I like it. I like it a lot.
It kind of reminds me of the Gallus a little bit.
It's time to get into whips. Works in progress, boys.
So if I get out of my Gundam and I leave it idling and I walk next to it, what would
you'll
you
get a
call
ticket for that. You'll get a ticket for that, at least in New Jersey.
Because it's still in progress?
Oh, because it's idling. So, since no one wants to talk about their whips, I guess I'll talk about mine. Because I'll talk about my whips any day of the week. So, the last thing I I was working on was a God Gundam kit bash. The picture should be somewhere on the chat, and I'm pretty sure John is going to edit in a video of what we're talking about. But so I've had this idea for a long time now. At least since December, I've had the kits, and I just never really had time to bust out the kits, and I was always working on something else. And then I saw Sly start posting his suit that I didn't realize was just punching a suit, and I was like, I kind of want to do that now. So I busted out my Denial and my God Gundam, and in about a week's time, I managed to churn out this God Gundam kit that is a combination of both Denial and the God that has a ridiculous level of articulation.
I'm in on the trend.
It could do a bunch of fucking poses. I'm so pleased with how that came out, and right now it's primed and it's ready to be reprimed after I finish checking and making sure that everything is nice and pretty the way I like it to look. Let me see if I can post a picture for you guys real quick. And I'm sure you guys have seen me spamming the hell out of it before.
Oh no, what? Spamming? No.
We should all bring our punching suits to the next BFS con, because
So we play Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
They'd be easy to pack, and we could do all kinds of poses for a photo shoot.
I mean, if you guys have the balls to pose them, sure.
Posing mine right now.
Just start throwing shade everywhere.
I don't know how to do punching. I know how to do sword.
I mean, so if you want to do punchy, do sword without the sword.
Yeah.
So that's one of the earlier whips before it was primed. Before I decided to go and add articulation to the head, which was unnecessary, and change the legs and a bunch of other things. So I actually, this is the first kit that I have gone ahead and done a lot of detailing work with my chisels, because before this they weren't really getting much use. I bought them right after the AOZ build contest. Actually, I bought them with that prize money, strangely enough. So I figured they needed to get some use, and I've been kind of learning slowly, but getting there. And I'm really happy with the way the details look. Hopefully once it's all nice and painted and panel lined, it's gonna look really good. The second kit I'm working on is the group build kit, and it's the Hazel. What did Ham call it? Hazelanthe?
Hazelthy?
Hazelthy, yeah. Because it's a kit bash of a Hazel and a Gaptheli. And it does transform. It's a transforming high grade suit. Originally, it was just going to be those two things, kit bash, and it wasn't going to do much scratch building. I started working on it back in December, and this is like probably one of the first things I've used my Cricut on to cut out plates like en masse and put things together. So the legs are all scratch built, like the leg armor is scratch built at least. And then after that, I decided to just go nuts with it. I ended up taking motifs from the Zeta Gundam, which is probably my second favorite suit out of everything. It's coming on really good. I had to put it down for a while just because I wasn't feeling it, and then I think thanks to the group build, I kind of got back into it, and now it's almost done. I'm finally onto detailing. Maybe priming will be this week. Then yeah, just painting and that's it. Really, really excited about this build. This is another build that I've been doing detailing on again with the chisels, not as much as the God Gundam, just because there's a lot more surface area to cover, and I don't want to over detail it. I don't want to screw anything up either, really, with doing it. So yeah, that's that. And then the last thing that I was working on is a commission for someone else that was like a kit bash of like a bunch of different things. It's got Lightning Gundam, it's got the Raphael legs. It's got Delta. It's everything. It's pretty much done at this point. I'm just waiting on water slides from a certain person, if she ever remembers to do them.
Ha, I got mine.
And then that'll go out to him, and that'll be that. And then the next commission that he has me working on after that, which will be for something else.
Did you pick out the color scheme, or did he pick out the color scheme?
He picked out the color scheme. So I'll post up a picture of that real quick.
Because I like it, man. It looks great.
I was so worried that it was gonna look like trash, but he picked out the color scheme because he gave me a line art, and I wasn't really feeling the line art to begin with. But then I was like, okay, we'll do this, and if it doesn't look good in real life, I'll just tell him that it doesn't look good, and we'll repaint it. No big deal.
Hit it with a hammer.
Hit it with a hammer until the paint falls off.
Yes.
And it turned out looking sexy as hell. I really love the way those colors look. Those are colors that I would probably never have done on my own, on a single suit. But it's just, I think it looks awesome. The decals, most of the decals are done, like I said. It's like, I think it's supposed to be a custom, like, mid-range suit. He had me do some custom fang bits to it. The backpack is kind of a callback to the Victory Gundam backpack. But other than that, it's tall and sleek, which is something that I like. I guess, Katoki kind of has my heart there a little. And yeah, I'm just super pleased with how it turned out. The colors look real nice. There's I don't know if you can see it in the picture, but there's actually 2 tones of gray for the armor and then for the inner frame, which they're very close in the picture, but if you look at it in real life, they're very distinguishable. So I'm absolutely pleased with that suit. I can't wait to get it out to him. Reaction. I'm always, more than anything, even more than the money commissions, I'm always happy to hear when people like my work.
More than the money. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, okay?
I mean, I know. It's weird, right? How could anyone like anything more than money? But I do. It is a very fulfilling sense of pride when someone tells me that they love my work.
Yeah.
Especially when it's going to sit on their shelves collecting dust for the next N amount of years.
Yep.
I remember when I used to like your work.
I know, and then I became an asshole.
Yeah. Now it's just stuff I have to look at occasionally.
Now it's just stuff you have to suffer through, I know. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Your God Gundam's actually really tame, and I appreciate it.
Really what?
Tame.
Oh, tame.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you mean tame, though?
We're coming down from the Zorn, buddy.
Oh, well, I mean, the Zorn was really special. I had to do something to fight a transforming suit. The populace didn't agree with the outcome, but fuck them.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't agree.
The populace can eat my ass. The populace.
I mean, if you pay me enough.
Contest.
Remember, it's all about the money.
That's all about the money.
Sometimes.
I think I'll go next.
All right.
I'm not working on. I'm working on 2 things now, which is admittedly kind of slow for me. But so I'm working on first my baby boy, the love of my life, my advanced Barsam, inspired from a very lucky look on Hobby no Toriko's website, Barsam custom that he did, and Lord knows I saw that thing and I was like, oh, I think I have to make that. I think I have to make that suit. Because, oh my god, it looks good. Good. Like, me and Hero were talking about tonight, and it's just like, I saw it and I was like, yeah, I need to have this.
It's really ridiculous how cool that suit looks.
The one with the Build Mark II backpack?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's sick.
It's like, And you look at it and you go, I never would have thought to do that, and it looks so good. And the thing is too, he doesn't scratch build, well, quote unquote, whatever you want to consider scratch building, because that is to a certain extent. I think when you're using parts of a kit to make a new part of the kit, you are scratch building to a certain extent. But besides that, there's nothing on that kit that you can't just buy and use to make the kit. And that in and of itself is like amazing. It's like you made a complete unique looking kit, just what you had, and it's like that's great.
Well, there are a lot of builders, especially recently, that have been able to take parts from existing kits without scratch building too much and make something look good, which I really always liked. It's something I'm trying to do a little more of too, because otherwise I'm just going to end up with a mountain of parts that I'll never use.
But yeah, so I've been working on that, and that's been lots of fun. It's just been since doing the waist joint and doing a few things to make everything work really nice, and putting the rifle together earlier today was great, because the rifle ended up working out thankfully much better than I thought it might have, because I was like, oh, I hope this is like, it's not heavy at all. Like, it's really big, but the way the Bartsam holds the rifle, it holds it to the side instead of like up. It's like not heavy at all. It balances out perfectly, and it's just this really nice, like, energy railgun. It's fantastic. I love it. And then from there, I've just a spare part graze as things go, because you can't ever avoid making a graze.
Because then you buy another graze just to, get one part to add to the graze you're building, and then you have another graze skeleton, and it's just the cycle that I know I've been caught in for the last 6 months.
And I think
Gotta break that addiction.
I think I put it together in like 3 days, something like that. Pap was there for the process, it was just like, oh yeah, let me throw this, and I was making weapons out of like what I had spare in boxes and shit, because I've got 1,001 spare parts, and it was just like, oh yeah, let's just put this together and see what it does, and it worked out nice, because I love the way it came out. I just need to paint it now. The frame is done. The rest of the done. So now it just needs to do the black and the yellow. The yellow for fires and the AHAB reactors and the camera.
Yeah, the graze is super sleek. Like it came out a lot cleaner and sleek than I thought it was going to look. Especially for IBO kits.
Like, one thing that I'm super, super happy about is just IBO in general, just for customs. IBO, it's gone from Hazel's time and some other times every once. Basically, I rotate. I go new Hazel custom, IBO custom, and just rotate like that. Last 6 months, I've made probably more IBO customs than I've made Hazel custom. Yeah.
And the fun part about IBO kits is that they just kind of all plug and play with each other.
Yeah.
And they're cheap.
Even better than Build Fighters kits.
Yeah, and that's one of the huge things they were advertising with the Build Fighters kits and the Revive line. It's like, oh, you can swap parts in and out, no problem, whatever. But the IBO kits just took that to the next level, and just they made such good on that promise from what Build Fighters kits were supposed to do.
I think if the new season of Build Fighters they release a graze, my life will end.
A Build Fight graze would be awesome.
My life is just over.
Well, thinking it's gonna happen, it would just make it's not even that they're not going to. It's like, it's gotta happen, because IBO is super popular. IBO, which is weird to think about too, because I never thought would really, not never happen again, but I didn't expect to kind of live through it happening twice.
For it to happen so soon.
Which is IBO basically became the new wing. IBO is the wing of this generation.
It's not quite as good, but you know.
I don't know about that.
No, I mean, you know, IBO.
They didn't throw one orphan out of a plane, all right? And then shoot him on the way down. So IBO can never be as good as Wing.
But it has, like, it's taken the Gundam and Gunpla world by storm, and it is just, it's very evident that this is one of those series that's gonna stick around very long.
It's a really good entry into Gundam.
Yeah, it's just a matter of what we get next from that.
I would say
part of the franchise.
I would say to a certain degree, IBO is a better entry than Build Fighters is.
On a whole, probably. Like at the moment, yeah, kinda.
It's probably more impactful, but like I know.
I mean, even if we just go on like the kits alone.
Sure, but I think Build Fighters, because of what it was really what originally grabbed me about the hobby. It kind of made the hobby more than just building a kit.
See, and that's exactly my line. To introduce people to Gunpla, I would choose Build Fighters. But to introduce people to Gundam as a whole and what it stands for, the political intrigue and you know the fancy mobile suits, like IBO
Wing,
is
right?
a great,
yeah, exactly.
Great entry. It used to be Wing, and then but see, right, so you start off with Wing, right? Because that's what I started off with.
Gundam.
I started off with Wing.
If I wanted someone to watch Gundam, go G Gundam first.
And even G Gundam, like Wing, the Wing Gundams were just so overpowered all the damn time. And
yeah.
So you watch any other Gundam, they're like, oh, they're just getting the shit beaked onto them. You know, it's a weak suit. That's not the case. It's just that Wing was just overpowered all the time.
That's kind of how I feel about 00 suits, though. Like GN drives just overpower everything immediately.
I don't know. I feel like one of the things that, to 00's credit, was they scaled really well. How in the beginning the Gundams were, because that was the idea, they were overpowered. They were like, we're gonna fucking curb stomp you, you know, we're gonna beat you up, and that's what we're doing. But midway through season 1, they were getting the shit kicked out of them, you know,
yeah.
like on a regular basis. Which I think is like one of like the best things about 00 is that they were very okay with making the Gundams look weak as technology progressed. Which exactly what Pap said about Wing. Wing, even when the suits had to get upgraded or changed, it wasn't really because they were being outclassed. It was kind of just to do it.
It's just because we could have a bigger explosion. Fuck you.
Yeah, right. Like,
yeah, essentially.
Like in the end, the Wing Zero is literally it can blow up a colony with its beam rifles, and it's not like those beam rifles require like a fuck ton of energy. It can shoot those beam rifles
for days,
as many times as it wants.
It doesn't
and
care.
Rotate slowly.
Although the Zero system doesn't care.
Yeah, like Wing was definitely like for me at least, I would probably.
Well, then it's even more ridiculous when the manga adds like the ridiculous add-ons to the cannons that make it shoot like 20 times in one shot.
And it was always entertaining how the antagonists in that show legitimately have a problem doing anything to go toe-to-toe with them. So much so that they came out with new prototypes, and it was 2 mobile suits that were designed to fight a Gundam. It was like, just stick these 2 suits together, and they'll have a chance.
I mean, if we're going to talk about mobile suits in Wing, I still love the Toggies. Toggies is my favorite out of all the Wing suits.
Toggies is my favorite suit.
The Toggies 2 is definitely one of the best.
Nah, Toggies 3. Toggies 3, boy. I love the 3.
I wanted to
Tallgeese
go
3's
at least one episode out talking trash about the Tallgeese 3, but that gun you made for your advanced Barzan, better than the Tallgeese 3. Just saying.
Now we're talking Tallgeese 3 high grade, because the Tallgeese 3 master grade is wonderful.
I mean, that's just wing high grades in general. Like some of like the worst fucking kits on the market.
I meant design-wise.
Don't remind me. That's
They
exactly what I
were-
started building.
They were made in a time when Western audiences didn't know any better.
Well, yeah, pretty much. It sucks too, because like, I mean, one of my favorite designs, regardless of how I feel about the show, one of my favorite designs from when, like, because that was my first as a kid. That was my first when it was airing on Toonami in like 2000. One of my favorite designs is the heavy arms. The heavy arms was like, because as far as I'm concerned, the heavy arms is like, let's do that fucking the thing that I hate that people do, which is slap guns on and
Bolt
make
on.
it and at least make an attempt at it looking cohesive. And
But it
not
works.
just-
It works because all the guns are hidden within the suit itself.
Exactly. And that's why, like, if people took the care to do stuff like that, I would never care. Because that's why I love the heavy arms. Because the heavy arms is a really nice looking suit, but it's got all the guns in the world because it just hides them underneath. Don't know how Troa sits in there because that doesn't make any sense. But hey,
He would roast
oh for
from
sure.
all the ammo.
I mean,
He has a cockpit like from G Gundam. That's how it's doing backflips.
I assume he just wears one of those flame blankets all the time.
I mean, Troa doesn't have a name, right? It could just be swapped with clones every time.
This is true. Who
Mhm.
would know the difference?
Clone
He has no
Troa.
emotions.
No one would care.
He's like Ray.
How?
All right, I guess I'll go up. So my work in progress. I should probably mention that I just joined BFS 2 months ago now,
Something like that.
roughly.
Yeah, and you're already doing a lot more work than some other people who've been around longer. So thank you for that.
And so I started with a group build, and it's a custom shiki is what I started building with a Harute backpack and a double X as well. And what I kind of did was I put the Harute backpack attached to it, and then I kept the double X on the original shiki backpack and magnetized it on top, so I can switch between backpacks as I need to.
That's already a lot more work than a person doing their first custom should do. So that's awesome.
Thanks. I mean, I feel like I put a lot of work into this guy, and it's super rewarding. I just finished a custom sniper rifle for it, and like I just look at it, and I'm very proud of my work, and I know that I can go further, which is nice, and you know it's really comforting being in a community that of skilled builders who are also willing to help and not just assholes.
It looks good. It really looks good, and I'm liking the way you're doing it a lot.
You took
yeah.
a suit that you liked and you made it distinct, which is really what anyone should strive for. It's not just a repaint. It's got its own gimmicks. It's got its own silhouette. It's nice.
Well, because I'm always of the mind. I'm always like, especially I appreciate the fuck out of somebody new, not even maybe not new, but new to customs, who jumps in head first. It's nothing insane, but you know what you're doing. You have a clear vision of what to do, and then you execute it.
Even if you don't, it's always cool to see someone willing to try, because there are a lot of people who will just talk about trying but never do anything.
They don't even hit the wall. They do a little work, and they don't reach the part where they need to ask for help.
Where you're unsure of where to go from
Well,
there.
I mean, for example, like when the most recent contest was starting, there were a lot of people who were saying, they're gonna participate and and I was like, okay, I was like, let's see what happens. I mean, we had one dude who he was doing his first custom, and he was just doing things that was just like, you probably shouldn't be doing that for your first custom, and I don't know why you'd be doing your first custom for like a serious contest. you know, and to the point where I think he burned himself out so bad that he left. Like, he left chat because he was just, and I don't think he builds anymore because he had burnt himself out so bad just building something that realistically he had no business building.
I'm trying to remember who that was.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember too. That's too bad. I mean, I'm glad he wasn't around when I revealed the Zorn then.
Oh, are we talking about for the AOZ contest?
Yeah,
No,
we're talking.
No. I'm talking about your contest.
Oh, my contest.
Yes.
Oh, then I definitely wasn't around for that because I was missing for like 3 months of the contest.
Yeah, it was like right at the beginning. Because at the beginning, remember, there were like, I mean, there must have been like probably like 15 people who were saying they were going to participate.
And I'm glad I got at least kind of half of that.
Yeah, what did you get in the end? What, like
7?
7?
7, yeah.
Yeah. Which, I mean, realistically, I think for
The way, because the AOZ contest was really like, it was really a narrow scope. I opened it up to everything. So I think that's what helped it get more people.
Yeah.
What happened to Jin? You know, he showed up, new guy, won the contest.
He's still around.
He's still around. I
Seems
think
much.
he's just like super busy. Yeah.
He is.
Plus, he puts so much work into each build that like I bet he wants to like buckle down before he starts another one.
Yeah, Jin showed me he's actually working on a custom V8 that would just move, like all the parts would move and stuff. I think he's making a V8 and a Mercurius as well.
Yeah.
But
He had that
it's insane.
hard drive.
And yeah, those are going to take a lot of work.
Yeah.
But he can do it.
I know he did. The fucked up part. Like, but
Break into his house and take them.
But yeah, like even the seven contest, I'm glad that I think especially given the fact that over half of them were done by pretty much the skilled builders in chat, save for you and SAR, for obvious reasons, because SAR is horrible under pressure.
That's too bad too.
But yeah, like that was what made me happy because it was nice. It was nice, like having like all the good builders just kind of sit there and like talk shit with each other, and like just see each of us kind of like progress and like make something that they were proud enough to submit to this contest, which was nice. And it was also it did make me happy seeing seeing some of the less experienced builders at least take that step and be willing to take some risks and to try to, you know, put up something that they think could have won the contest, which is nice. I really did. Because I think that was one of the biggest things about my contest, but that was also back when chat was much smaller and much different.
Yeah.
And that was what, like
a year
6
ago.
months
A year ago.
Was it already a year ago?
Year and 6 months.
Shit.
I mean,
Something like that.
Yeah, we're like it hasn't been a year and a half, a month away from it being a year since that contest.
From being a year.
Yeah. So it's been about a year, and like back then chat was definitely a lot different, and like a lot of people were set in their ways, but also a lot of people just didn't like thinking back on it. Like now I think the AOZ contest better than it did back then because we have a lot of people with the skill to do what I was asking. Whereas before we had 3 or 4 people that could do it, and the rest, you know, I'm basically asking the world of them just to even create something relatively AOZ, you know, and not with a cake.
And I was already all over that because I already had plans for the Zorn that I had entered. Like I think me and you had discussed it for a while, Ham, where I already had a vision of what I was going to do with this kit, and then the AOZ contest just kind of helped me really fine tune that idea.
Yeah, like that's, which is why I wish I could just put it on. I'd love to put it on again because I think the results that I get now would be vastly different.
Yeah, probably. And you know, just to touch on something you said earlier, it's nicer to see new people submitting finished finished models, even if they're not the most ambitious things, because that means they put forth the effort and saw through to the end, and that's always nice to see.
Well, I think that goes to a different point where it's like you found this you found build fight system, and I don't know why, because the idea is that you're building your kits to fight it, and then eventually with the greater goal of making a custom kit to fight with it, based on the show, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it's so funny to me when people don't even build and they're in the chat and like and not to say anything mean about that, but it's like the community is based around the building and the customizing of kits,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and if you're not doing that, how did you find this community to begin with?
And honestly, that's how I found the Discord, is because I've been building for a while. I started with the early 2000 wing kits, which were awful. And recently I kind of like dropped in and out of the hobby. I started painting Warhammer for a while and then dropped out of that once they killed fantasy, and started getting back into Gunpla. And I was searching for like a podcast, came upon Gunpla Club, introduced myself to SAR, and SAR posted the link to BFS, and magic happened.
I guess
Here we are now.
So with that, do you guys want to go into how we came about BFS individually?
How we ran into it?
Yeah, how we just kind of head first right into it.
We can.
Yeah.
If you do, Joe, do you want to go with your work in progress?
Oh yeah, that's fine. I guess someone might care.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I care. I care.
I'll be brief so I don't waste Hero's time.
Time is money.
As quick as I can. Me and another gentleman named Sly, who hopefully you'll all be meeting soon.
He is another member of our podcast that is not here.
Podcast reserves. We got very
team.
into forum-based roleplay in the IBO setting. We have
That's hot.
an alternate universe IBO setting that we roleplay in. And the three of us all like to build kits to represent the suits we invented in the story. Along with it, you all know about the Grimgird, however you say it. Grimgird.
Grimgird.
It was one of, a set of Valkyr frames. And we liked that because we liked Grazes, and if these were the forebearers of the Grays, we wanted to kind of flesh it out a little bit in our universe. And, they made a bunch of them, 2 of them, and I finally got started on mine. And just started priming and fine detailing mine tonight. So there'll be more pictures of that when it's done, hopefully soon.
I'm very excited to see that, and I know you're going to post it on Twitter, so I'll be sure to see it.
I will. One thing I wanted to say, mine is, so I think with the Valkyrie frames that they made, theirs are what it would look like if frames were rediscovered and used in the current IBO setting. I kind of wanted to design mine based on traditional Valkyrie lore. So it doesn't really look as technologically advanced as the others do, but I think you'll see where I'm coming from in the pictures.
So is that
Pat posts them?
Yeah,
it's going to be.
It has that wing motif.
Yeah, it's a Valkyrie in design based off of traditional Valkyrie lore, but technologically it looks like it might have during the Calamity War. It doesn't have a lot of the future tech, and it has very rudimentary weapons.
My question is, would you buy a Fuijoka just to have the Valkyrie frame ride it?
I would buy a Fuijoka to throw in the garbage because I hate that goddamn horse. Yeah.
Just give it to me.
Listen,
I'm gonna cut off its head and put it in your bed.
Jesus
Oh
Christ.
no.
Oh. one of the I really do think the Valkyrie trend that happened thanks to me is
Yeah, just
is
like I'm
is one
responsible for the Hazels. It's fine.
is listen.
Just like I'm responsible for winning first place.
Stop
Oh,
taking credit for my work, please. But the Valkyrie trend that I happened to start because it was just something I decided to do was probably one of my favorite trends that we've had in BFS, which was just like, you know, I threw the idea out there and the three of us that liked it latched onto it and rolled with it hard. Like
yeah.
I mean,
right
you guys
now,
have been rolling hard with just Ibo suits in general since Ibo came out.
oh yeah,
Like
pretty
let's
much. Listen, that's
let's
like
not be
my
around the bush.
that's like my bread and butter now. Is like some of my favorite customs now, especially Seagrun. Seagrun is like my favorite custom right now, and it has yet to be beat. The advanced Bart Sam might be coming close for me right now, where that might be hitting into the favorite custom territory once I'm done with it. But Seagrun, like I fucking
And I don't blame you at all because like Ibo has so many different like shapes and variations that just play so nicely together. Seen I probably haven't seen a single Ibo custom that's really well thought out that I hated.
And the trends kind of tend to go that way with us because I become really passionate about a build when it's based in the role play. Like it gives it so much more soul, which kind of leads me to the other thing I'm working on right now, which is a GM3 custom based in our Universal Century roleplay. It's kind of a bizarre one. Basically, I wanted to do something simple, so I grabbed a GM and I wanted to give it a Xeon flare by giving it. I gave it Gaza D missile pods, and I didn't know at the time how much work I was cutting out for myself.
I was gonna say, Nika, did you just say simple? You're fucking over here scratch building a GM3 full district type.
Yeah, okay, so maybe I went about this in the worst possible way, but I've already extended the shoulders and the arm, proper housing for the missile pods and the leg thrusters, and I think most of the hard work is done. But I think it's really just going to come into its own, like that jade color scheme, and steal someone's ground type beam javelin. That'll be nice.
Once that's nice and primed, it should look a lot better than having those awful pink pods on the side.
They are salmon colored, and it's amazing. that kit came. I remember I was with you guys in Discord, and I was like, "Hey guys, Gaza D. It's in Japan. They want $8 for it," and I ordered it with Amazon Prime, and we were all sitting there going, "That's never arriving. You're never gonna get that. We're not sure if that exists." And then only like a month later, it showed up in the mail. It's like, wow, it's a real kit. So yeah, that was surprising and fun, and I'm moving forward with that custom a lot faster than I thought I would have.
But to speak to something you said real quick about the investment in building something when it's related to RP, that was probably one of the biggest reasons that I initially, and this segue is perfect. This can segue perfect. That was one of the biggest reasons that I stuck around was for RP, because when I came, really I wasn't interested in the slightest, which is funny. I wasn't interested at all in playing the system because at the time the system, for me at least, was very clunky and very long and just a pain in the ass and a pain in the ass to do, and RP ended up being that thing that I kind of headed towards, and I was putting out, I think, when I was home, because obviously I was in school and still am, but when I was home, I had like the motivation to put out multiple suits at a time because I was like, this is for RP, I want to use that for RP, and this, that, and the other thing. And like that for certain is like RP is probably one of the biggest reasons that I started getting better at building, because I really wanted to be good enough where I was like, yeah, this thing I'm using for RP is good, not because I'm saying it's good, because it's actually good.
And I just want to say, like, we really have to thank Sar for that. Like, she's the one that brought RP to like the forefront of build fight system. If it wasn't for her, I think probably the system would probably be dead, or if not dead, then like really just like a skeleton of what it was.
It would have had a lot of dendrobium strapped to it.
Because like there are a lot of people who just stick around for RP, and that's I think definitely RP is what the community has grown around at this point. As begrudging as I was to accept it in the beginning, it's been like 3 years, and it, like I said, without RP, this community probably wouldn't be anything. And which is sad too, because a lot of the more skilled builders would also be scattered about instead of together helping each other. So it's brought the skilled builders together along with the people who like RP.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how those two groups of people working towards a common goal in some cases.
I agree. I mean, I started like the Shiki, I started with the group build in mind, where I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna customize this, make it look like a Titans, give it a paint suit and maybe like a few custom things. Like I wanted to put the Harute initially, but as I started building it, and then I found out about the RP, and I was like, oh, I can actually participate in the RP, and it just grew from there. And then all these crazy ideas happened, and just really, really proud. And it's a great feeling finishing a suit, knowing that you're going to bring it to life with words.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I showed up and found the group, which I guess is kind of going to the next topic. Did we have any other work in progresses to talk about?
No.
Well, I remember probably, was it a year and some months ago when I found BFS?
Sure, you jumped around the time the Hazel contest, or the
Hazel contest. Yeah.
The Hazel contest. It might as well have just been a Hazel contest started.
I'm laying out in his bed waiting for Hazel lips. Yeah. Anyway, I showed up by chance because I had already kind of been into Gunpla. I've been watching Gundam since Wing in the States, and I always loved Gundam. But as far as Gunpla goes, I had no idea that it had advanced as far as it did. I hadn't heard of Build Fighters or anything, so I started watching that. And that made me kind of work on my first custom, which still isn't finished, and that's kind of the romantic part of it for me, so I'll keep it that way. So I found this group, and it's kind of neat. They can fight their customs in a system, and that seems fun. But they also have hey guys, remember Skype? They had a Skype channel at the time, and that was I can talk to like-minded people, and that was fun. And the system seemed cool, but what really pulled me in was the roleplay. I've always done writing like this, and it was always a lot of fun. And I've never done the role play in a Gundam setting, so I jumped at that and really hit the ground running. And I probably wouldn't have gotten so deep into it if it wasn't for Ham and Can, who's another gentleman in our community. You guys welcomed me in real fast, and threw me some opportunities to write with you, and that was great. And then the contest happened, and that was when I started picking up supplies. So I threw a lot of money at that test to kind of get myself ready to build, because I knew I was going to stick with the hobby. But there's a little something for everyone in this community, so that's definitely why I stuck around.
Probably next to Neon, I would say I'm the oldest member of BFS on this podcast. I've been around since the very first system, although back then we were using Chatzy. And back then we were just rolling D20s at each other with our customs. I kind of got back into Gundam after a long time. Probably like you guys, I saw G Gundam and Wing on Toonami, and I absolutely loved them. Like they were so much fun to watch, especially like in between Sailor Moon and everything else that was on. And I actually got my first kit back in like 2007 when I went to my first anime convention, and I definitely overpaid for that kit. I paid like $18 for a high grade Nataku, and I paid like I think $50 for a God Gundam master grade, which is like twice the price of what they are. And I twisted them out of the sprues because I didn't know any better, and I thought they looked great. Looking back on them now, probably not so much. So anyway, fast forward to I think 2012 is when Build Fighters came out, right?
13.
13.
Yeah, 2013.
So yeah, fast forward to 2013, and I'm browsing anime, and I see Build Fighters, and I'm like, oh, cool. I didn't know Gundam, had come this far. And I just picked it up and I watched it, and I fell in love with it. And that kind of got me back into the idea of just building kits. And so I browsed around. I don't remember what the hell I was looking for. Probably just how to make kits look better. I found the Gunpla subreddit, and then from there I found the Build Fighters subreddit that was probably advertised by Nitro at the time. And I joined the chat. There weren't that many people in the chat at the time. I think probably like 5, including Nitro. It was probably Nitro, Andy, Sarah, and Peasy, which are other members of our community. And Andy was probably there too.
Not doing much.
Yeah, not.
Trash talking, episode 1.
I mean, this is what's going to set up the podcast, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I probably logged on late at night because no one was talking, and then I didn't look at it for a while. I came back maybe two months later after I had actually built a custom, because I liked the idea of being able to battle a custom that you built, and just have fun with it. But yeah, I built this custom. It was based on a master grade Wing Zero. It looked hideous thinking back on it, but there was a lot of stuff that I had done with it that was kind of ridiculous. Like I scratch built the whole backpack and I modified guns and everything. It's kind of weird thinking back on how much I did to that suit, and then fast forwarding to now, to where it kind of set up the goals that I had for myself back then, even as far as building goes, and as far as my own processes for building. But anyway, yeah, I did that, and I entered my Wing Zero into a tournament that had been posted, and I got my ass promptly blown out of the water.
By whom?
I don't even remember, because at the time the stats were so weird, so it didn't really even matter, even as much work as I thought I put into the suit, but it was still ugly anyway. And then yeah, so that's pretty much how I found Build Fighters, through Build Fight System through Build Fighters again. And since then I've been keeping up with Gundam, trying to watch what I can, fall in love with Universal Century, particularly the Zeta Gundam and the Hyakushiki, which are my top 2 favorite suits.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely love them. I love anything based off the Hyakushiki. So like the Delta Gundams, and
recently started appreciating it too.
Same thing with the Zeta. Like I like anything that has the design. So like the what's it called, the Zeta C1 and all those variants. And the gray Zeta is my absolute favorite Zeta, and probably absolute favorite suit. Honestly, it's too bad like Master Grade is like $100 because it's P Bandai. But when I
isn't
have
it also
money,
orange?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like yellow. I don't care. It's awesome. I love it.
No, it's fine. I just have no idea where that comes from.
It's
I believe the designer was colorblind, I think.
Maybe.
And I think he, like, legitimately colorblind. I think he thought he did it in gray, but it was actually yellow.
The gray part comes from the pilot.
The pilot, yeah, because it's fuck, what the Shin Matsunaga.
Yeah, who piloted the gray. He's the Gray Wolf.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he, as a remnant of Xeon, went and joined the AUG, and then one of the three suits that were used, one of the three Zeta suits that were used was the Gray Zeta, along with the Red Zeta and Amaru's custom Zeta. Those three Zeta suits were used to beat down the Titans. I'm sorry, the Titans.
Les Titans.
So yeah, that's how I got back in, and I'm very happy to be here. Most of the time.
And we're happy to have you most of the time.
I'm gonna go ahead and pass the baton to Ham.
All right. Well, beginnings are pretty much the same for us. 2000, watching G and Wing when they were Toonami, basically got me. I remember one of the most memorable moments was, I think, the Christmas of 2001, and I had gotten my mom and my dad had got me GI Joes, and I was like, and I obviously I was a kid, so I wasn't like, what the fuck is this? But I was like, what is this? Like, why would I want GI Joes? And they were like, okay, and they went into the basement and brought me out like the 5 main wingsuits in those old action figures.
No. What level were those wingsuits?
I have no idea.
Do you remember that commercial?
I do, but I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you what level those wingsuits were, but they were like. But I was so happy because I was like, yeah, Gundam, awesome, like. And from there, it was just picking up Gundam here and there where it would show up. It was all AU stuff. I don't think I had watched. I don't think the only, and it's ironic because the only UC that I took in prior to joining chat was Unicorn, maybe like 6 months before I joined the system. And then when I was 13 or 14, I read the AOZ manga, which is why AOZ is probably one of my favorite series, because it was one of the, because I guess up until that point, that was probably like the 5th series I ingested. So that was like one of the first things that I was exposed to, so I really enjoyed that. But fast forward to Build Fighters coming out, really enjoyed Build Fighters, had a really good time with them. And then the summer before Tri started, the summer like right, like maybe like a month before Tri had started, my best friend had been like, let's he's like, yeah, let's, because I had got him into Build Fighters as well, and he was like, yeah, let's get some Gunpla, let's try out some Gunpla. I was like, because I was reluctant, because I was like, like if I want Gundam, I kind of want something like I can kind of play around with a little bit, and I don't know, good for that or like whatever. And we got some kits. I got a Starbucks break. He got the old Wing Zero custom.
The high grade?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And Joe.
Yeah, what's up?
With the Twitter post?
It's topical. I'm sorry.
But so we did that, and like from then on, I was in hard. I think my 3rd suit was the Montero, and right after I had done our Build Strike, the G Stealth, and then the Montero, and then right after that, I did my first custom, because I was painting from my first kit. I painted the frame to look like the RG system, because I was like, that sounds like fun. I think that'll be cool. I was mixing paints. I think I mixed.
So did you make it glitter?
Yeah, I made Tamiya. I mixed Tamiya silver and Tamiya metallic blue, to make this nice like silvery blue and like realistically for my first paint job it wasn't that bad. Obviously it didn't get thinned at all, but it wasn't the worst thing ever, which thinking about it back, I'm like, yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised that worked out as well as it did. And then for there, I went balls, I was building left and right. And then I found the Gunpla subreddit, and frequent there. And I had seen Build Fight System before because I checked out the sidebar, and I was like, oh, I guess that's something. I was like, and that was I want to say that was late 2014, and I was like, I guess that's something. Like it's not something I'm really that interested in. And continued on into 2015, building, and come fall 2015, I went back because I was always checking out the Gunpla subreddit. That was something I often enough. I think at that point I maybe made like a post or two, and I would check out Build Fight every once in a while. I'd be like, oh, let me see if anything. And I clicked it, and I went in, and I saw, I think the first post on the page that day was a XX custom from Mao, his DX Emperor. And I was like, oh my god, that's like really, really, that looks really cool. I really like the way that looks. And I was like, that's awesome. And then I finally saw that there was a Skype link was on the side of it, and I was like, you know what? I was like, let me join. I don't particularly have to talk, because initially I was like, I'm just gonna check it out. I'll see what's what, and if they're, I think the thought process was, if they're weird, I'll just leave.
I mean,
and
we
then
are
we
weird.
were really weird, and you stayed.
I was like, if they're weird, I'll just leave, and it's simple as that. But the issue was, I didn't use Skype, so I didn't realize that when you join a Skype group, it fucking tells everybody you joined a Skype group. It's like, hey, that nigga over there just joined.
Yeah. And then you get bombarded with our questions.
And that's basically what happened. I did not plan on talking, but I joined, and it was like, yep, you just joined. And I was like, oh shit. And then I ended up, I want to say I was probably talking to Excel, and I'm trying to think at the time who else was probably there. It might have been Silver. And I was talking to the two of them that morning through my, I ended up downloading the Skype app onto my phone, and I was just talking to them through my morning classes that day. And I ended up, I was like, okay, I'm here. And I wasn't like too talkative at first. I was around, but I wasn't saying too much. And then eventually, I don't know what happened, like maybe like a month in, something finally clicked. And I think that was probably when RP started to, like they were finally starting to reboot RP after it had basically hit hiatus and stopped happening. And that's basically when I started talking like all the time, to the point where obviously now most people in chat know who I am, because I'm always around. Like there's like, it is a rarity when I'm not around. Kind of strange, but I'm always there. I'm always like I'm the welcoming party at the door. And that was kind of like my first like job in BFS, was to be like, hey, welcome, here's the questions, what's up, how you doing, and that's kind of where that went from. And then obviously now I am one of two admins for the group, reluctantly, by coincidence, not choice. And
you were just the only one who tried to set up Discord for us.
Pretty much. Yeah, but that's pretty much how I ended up in BFS. Glad I did, because I think there was a lot of things I can't even imagine where BFS would have gone if a couple of us hadn't joined. I don't know where it would be right now if a few of us hadn't joined. But yeah, that was definitely like one of those good decisions, because at this point it's been going on 2 years now that I've been here. Done plenty of stuff. Definitely gotten better as a builder just by being here, because you see people like Hero and Sar churning out shit, and you're like, damn, my shit looks like shit.
One of those people builds things.
I know Sarah does, right? Because I don't build anything. I stopped building a while ago, actually.
No, it's just Sar is a very strong advocate of quality over quantity.
Which is fine, because it's, at least when she does do it, it's true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, she has life.
Boobs? What? Oh.
Right.
That's not confirmed.
More research needs to be done in that field. On that field.
Putting you on this assignment.
Putting Asian girls on blast already.
Episode 1 is how we do.
So, next on the agenda, because this is a big thing for us, is one of the people, somebody much older, both in age and in seniority, being system, opened his own Gunpla store late last year, and has been for the last going on a year now, close to a year in a couple months, has been providing us with Gunpla, not for free, of course, but
with plastic crack,
with very good prices. Like probably
yeah,
some of the best prices that you could run across, and that's not me saying it because he's a part of the community or a friend. It's just because legitimately he has good price. I'm not, like, regardless of the person selling it, I'm not buying Gunpla for what I consider exorbitant prices. Like, if I'm buying something, it's because I think it's, and like, if I can do it, I usually buy from him. Supporting him, he's also getting a price on it.
And it kind of sucks that he opened it up so late, because by the point that he opened it up, I had kind of stopped buying kits just because I have a ridiculous backlog, and at the rate that I build, I'm never gonna finish my backlog if I keep buying kits.
I've kind of had to hold up as well, but always if I have the opportunity to buy from him, I do. His shipping is super reasonable. His prices are probably the best you can find.
Yeah, I would definitely, like, if I had to get a smattering of kits, I would buy them from him.
What did you just say?
A smattering of kits.
Sounds
And I would
Alright.
love to go. I would love to go visit his physical store when it opens.
Yeah.
That's
Road
only
trip.
That's a 4-hour drive from here, so that would be fun.
But the site itself is wizardtowergames.com. Head there. If you come join the Discord, which we'll link near the end of the show. He will be there. One of the nicest things about the fact that he's in the community is that you can literally just talk to him. You can ask him to just pick something up for you, and it is that simple. He's currently working with his distributors to be able to get P Bandai, if you're in the U.S., and be able to get P Bandai at prices that aren't ridiculous. Like, he, at this point, essentially, if he can get P Bandai, it's at whatever the normal price for like an MG or an HG, whatever the kit is, it would be at the normal price that it would normally be, with maybe a couple dollars added on, but nothing like it currently is, where
it's like double the price of what the master grade would be otherwise, in most cases, or like the high grade. So, which is a huge godsend.
So if you would be so inclined, if you're listening to the podcast and you're interested in joining, and you're interested in getting to the hobby, or you're already in the hobby and you'd just like to, get more Gunpla, as we like to do, that store is definitely probably one of your best options, because being able to interact with the owner directly and being able to get what you need when you need it is probably the best part about that store.
And yeah, don't be dumb like me and don't buy your kits at ridiculous prices at anime conventions.
And he's also one of the nicest people I've ever met, hands down.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. He's very nice. He's very willing to. He's always like, I mean, I'm sure Joe can speak to it. Like like you can literally ask him, hey, can you get this kit for me? I'm not gonna buy it right now, but just keep it until this other kit comes in, and then once it comes, get ready for that bulk buy because I'm gonna buy it. You know.
Yeah, he's always very helpful with ordering. I remember for the doctor, I was waiting on a particular kit to release, and rather than having to pay shipping on all of them, he just held on to the kits for me until they all came out, and then I just bought them all at the same time.
He is our little slice of HLJ in America.
Yeah. So for sure, like if you have a chance, even if you don't come and join BFS, check out his store because his store is definitely worth taking the time out to explore.
So, like I said, we have all our stuff on the Reddit. We post our profiles on the Reddit. It is it's Build Fight System. So r/Build Fight System. It's been a little quiet recently because we haven't really had too many people post their profiles lately. Probably one of the latest ones is just the group build, where I assume we're all going to be posting our kits when they're done. There's links to all our game rules there. There's links to the Discord on there. There's also links to our Roll20 room, which is what we use to play against each other when we actually play the system. There's a whole bunch of different things you can read. So if you're interested in joining us, definitely take a look at the subreddit. It's a little bare right now, but we're actually working with someone to, I'm not gonna say too much, but we're looking to bring back some stuff and make the Reddit a little more active than it is right now.
The best thing I can say, join the Discord because I think it is to our detriment to a certain extent. The subreddit looks extremely bare because there's not a lot of posts all the time. It's definitely more active than it was than when I first joined. But come to the Discord because we're literally on it. We're on.
Yeah, that's the other thing is that before we used to post just pages of whips and everything. We'd gather all the pictures that we've done throughout the week and post them in one place. But now since we have the Discord, we're just able to easily do that and share everything with each other. So it doesn't really need to be recorded on the sub anymore. Hopefully we're going to fix that sometime soon. Now that we have a bot up and running that can do that. And if nothing else, there are a lot of cool customs on the sub. So if you're interested in seeing, some awesome looking suits, they're there for your viewing pleasure.
Awesome. So we got a few questions in from a couple of members in the community, and we want to take a quick moment to answer them, as ridiculous and absurd as they may be. Dr. Minovsky asks the first question: under the current rules of BFS, is Hero OP?
Yes.
The answer is yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Always. This is a golden rule.
If you are a masochist and you would like a right butt fucking, ask Hero. He will take you to Pound Town real quick. He's got a nice selection of suits. Do you want it long? Do you want it hard or close? Whatever you like.
I can give it to you however you like it, basically.
Well, there you go. Second question is: if Neon, a ginger, builds a custom Gunpla with the Hades system, it still has no soul attached, right? I believe that two soulless kits do not cancel each other, so it still remains soulless.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
Correct.
Where is this lore coming from? I don't think he's a ginger.
Apparently Neon is a ginger, so that is that lore.
Yeah, he is a ginger. He has no soul.
From now on, everything outside of the U.S. is just known as Europe.
It's all it's all Europe now. But that's getting into a scope of discussion that this podcast is not about.
Yeah. Okay. Next question.
Last question from Sarah. Which would you kill, marry, or fuck among Andy's Titus Bancho, the Seraph, or Hero's Killer Queen?
I think I answered this earlier, and it's got to be the Killer Queen because it's the only finished one there.
So are you fucking it or are you marrying it?
No. So.
Oh, okay.
I'd marry the Killer Queen because it's the nicest looking one. I'd fuck the Seraph because at least it does something. And I'd probably kill the Poncho because I don't need big fist in my life.
That's exactly my answer.
That is pretty much my answer. Actually, yeah, I guess I'll go with that. I will marry. No, actually, if I married the Killer Queen, I guess that'd be incest.
Mm-hmm.
So I will marry the Seraph. The fucking Killer Queen is still incest, so I can't win either way.
Is it incest if it's an adopted thing? I mean, Woody Allen,
He made it with his own hands.
No, that's different. This I made this.
This is like weird science.
This comes from me.
All right.
So,
isolate that.
So either way, I can't win. It's fine.
All right. Hijinks the Turtle asks, what's an experience you've had when you were feeling down with a build or custom you weren't satisfied with?
Oh, I got a recent one.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
As we were talking about the Valkyrie frame craze that we kind of got into, myself and Sly, one of our other members, who is not here because he's a Texas.
He's at Texas.
Texas had a half day.
we both made two Valkyrie frames, and my second frame, Rose Weiss, which the design for Rose Weiss, I think I didn't do a bad job on that. That was I think that was my second suit with any significant putty work on it, to reshape the head into what I was looking for. And that suit just gave me so much trouble. At this point I've stripped it 3 times because the paint every time at every turn gave me trouble in some way. And at this point I've just accepted the fact that it is not going to be fixed ever. It's never going to be proper in my eyes, and I just have to accept that. And unfortunately it happens. And to say the least, it's like I just kind of have to go, man, this really gets me upset, but I'm just going to have to get over it because it's not great and I can't really do anything about it. And I just got to move on because I got other things to build and other things to do.
Maybe you'll go back to it one day. We always have that thing we go back and fix occasionally.
I mean, I would love to have you come over and just watch as you do it and just allow my aura to make it beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much for your blessing.
I had the first contest that I joined in BFS was the AOZ contest, and that was the first custom build that I had ever finished completely, and it involved me doing a lot of new things, trying new things, just kind of throwing myself at it and hoping it worked out. And I think it came out all right, but I don't know if I was in a bad place at the time. But I remember seeing the results of that contest and being just disappointed in myself. I ended up spiking the Autuno against a wall and then writing a big diatribe about it in roleplay.
Cut my plot into pieces.
This is my last Gunpla. It felt really good at the time to spike that. But I've since repaired it, and I'm not salty anymore. But
are you sure you're not?
I'm not.
If I licked you, would
I'm
it
only
not taste
sad
like
because
salt?
Andy beat me. That's basically where the line is.
Listen,
But,
I will give him that. He put in some serious effort for that.
yeah, he almost died.
He
I mean,
almost died building it,
Like,
but it was
night
worth it.
before the deadline, he's like hyperventilating.
It makes sense why he doesn't build anymore. He used all his effort for that
On
build.
that, and then the second build he posted.
He can't do it anymore, which I guess is all right. I guess.
It's still a shame because
And he's taking commissions, guys. So I mean,
He's got it.
if you want,
Yeah, I mean, you
if
can
you want
wait
something
a couple
built
months.
in 15 years.
It's a shame too because he's got it going. Like he can definitely do the work.
And he's such a sweet boy.
He's such a cherry boy.
Oh,
Oh.
well, probably, yeah.
The Bancho has yowie hands.
Mm, big ol' Hulk hands.
It comes from a place of love.
I guess to go off of what Joe was saying about the contest. So I finished the Zorn. And of course, it won. It won hands down. Like,
Yeah, we're complaining about first place.
it's not so much complaining about first place as it is complaining about the fact that what happened, like, after the fact that it was done. Where, so I had done everything to it. It was painted, it was top coated, and it was gloss coated, and I had done the decals. And I decided to use a new top coat, which was Alclad 2's flat top coat. And I put it on all the pieces. And I waited about a week for the top coat to dry, and it just never dried. It stayed tacky forever. Even months later, it was still tacky. And I was so happy at the time that it was done that I quickly put it together with my bare hands. So I got all my disgusting, nasty oils on it. And it yellowed the white armor. You can't really see it in the original pictures I took, but if you looked at it up close, it like the top coat had just mixed with the oils and it had become yellow. And
Greasy Mexican oils.
yeah, greasy Mexican oils from all those tacos that I was eating.
Goya brand.
I messed up. I got Sazone underneath the top coat.
And I spilled my Goya all over it. Yep. So the fucking base that I built, I had snapped a piece of it off, so I had gotten acrylic in one of my fingers, and my finger was bleeding as well. So that didn't help the situation at all. So now there's blood and Goya mixed on the Zorn that's all tacky. Thankfully you couldn't see it in the pictures, but when I was done, I was just so, yeah, that too, especially that, Joe. Just rub it all over the Zorn all the time.
Just chorizos. Just rub them all over.
So I was really disheartened when it was done and it was all gross. And I went back, and it took me maybe another 3 months to finally disassemble it and strip it and repaint it and then redo the decals and do some of the details. I added more details onto it that I originally had planned. But
and
it
now
was
it's only covered in crusty old semen.
hot glue.
Hot gluing the Zorn.
I put it on the base just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere.
Semen? Oh,
Yes. So
I was making a joke, but you were going that way too.
the fact, I think it's more upsetting that it won first place in that state, and then I had to go back and fix it anyway because I just couldn't leave it as it was. But
The only time you'll hear me say this, the Zorn is a good.
so it's you can hate it all you want, but you will not have gone through what I went with that kit.
No, I don't know.
And I love it. I love it to death. I'm happy with how it turned out in the end, but it was just It was just bad. It was real bad when it was done.
I like how every time it's seen in chat, it does the Sirocco special to Sar.
I mean, that's pretty much what it's supposed to do.
Great. It mind breaks.
I mean, what do you think the big fists are for?
They're holding.
They're not for holding guns.
Oh.
I'll tell you that much.
One of the worst experiences I had, I've painted acrylics for years, but I decided to try enamels and like the tester's spray paint hold on, the Talgeese 3 HG that came with like all 3 different Talgeeses that you can just kind of build however you want, but it was all white. It was a fucking terrible kit. Built it, customized it. It was like a mixture of like a Talgeese 2 and 3. Super nice. I had like the Dom gun on one side, the rail gun on the other, the shield up. Primed it, painted the pieces that I wanted, and then when I put it together, I don't know if I didn't let it cure enough, but that paint was so thick that the parts just glued together. And I remember I was trying to pose it, and like the gun snapped off, like one of the backpacks snapped off, one of the wings snapped off. I was just like, oh well, there goes.
That's sad.
There goes.
Damn.
Past 2 weeks of me trying to build.
Where
this.
is it? Where is it now?
Enamel's nasty. Enamel's.
It is standing on the shelf as the Talgeese repaired.
I thought you were going to tell me it was in the garbage where the Talgeese 3 belongs.
No.
You mean like where the Mark II belongs?
This?
That is the most controversial thing you'll ever say.
It's there. It's a constant reminder of my shame.
I'd like my voice now blurred out like Deep Throat. I can't do this podcast anymore.
Just the words redacted are played every time he talks. There's a ghost in this podcast. A great black ghost.
That's too bad though. Like those testers rattle cans have ruined more things than they will ever know.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Yep.
Hero Tech asks, if we could be a single character in Gundam, who would we be?
Oh man,
Let me tell you about a man. His name is Bask-Om.
Okay, I will be Shar Aznavel.
Realistically, if I had to pick Gundam character,
I wonder who Joe's gonna say. I wonder who he could possibly want to be.
Agrees.
Lieutenant
Listen.
Kranku?
as much as I love Mackie, I don't want to go through what Mackie went through.
I already know who you're gonna say.
I don't have an answer yet.
Yes, you do. You know you have an answer. I'm gonna answer for I'm gonna answer for Joe. 'Cause
Yeah,
he wants to be Trey's Kushinada. You know,
I do.
his original gay blonde crush.
He was my very first favorite character, and is still just. He was a cool guy. You know, he spent half the series under house arrest with his boots up on the desk. He's a badass. He came out for one fight, brought the best Talgeese out, did a cool thing, said some cool, ridiculous nonsense, and then went out like a badass.
Actually,
Weapon on purpose.
I'm gonna take my answer back. I'll be Domo. I want to be Domon Kashu. I absolutely love Domon Kashu.
But instead, you get to be from Psyche, which has its ups and downs.
I mean, get to be on my knees all day.
Horse?
What?
Yeah, I guess.
What's that mean?
What?
So, Pap, who do you want to be?
Yeah.
Miliardo Peacecraft, hands down. I've been obsessed with fucking Trays. Not Trays,
Now you can no
Zex.
longer be
I've
my
been
friend.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been obsessed with Zex since, like, Wing. It's like, I don't care about Hero, I don't care about Joe. Heavy Armors is probably my favorite out of everyone. And then I saw the Talgeese,
You know
I
what?
was like, nope.
That's something really funny. How fucked up is it? I don't know about you, Hero, but at least for me and Pap, Miliardo Peacecraft or Zex Marquise was our first char.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was actually my first Char. I I definitely have to go back and watch Wing.
That was an archetype that we all sat there going, this character is so cool. He's got a mask.
Listen, the thing that I can say for certain, of all the Char clones, he's probably the best. Next to McGillis, him and McGillis are probably the two best Char clones.
IBO is kind of groundbreaking. A lot of the things it has to do. So, like, Mackie is so respectable in his, his tropes and everything that he does. He kind of deserves like honorable mention, topping the list.
In his lust to kill his friends and his need of little girl wives, he is very respectable.
He doesn't need them. He just enjoys them.
Like, I feel all right. So McGillis, I think, is CCA Char to the extreme.
Oh,
I don't think he's that cool.
Both of the main characters of that show lost their goddamn minds at the end.
Yeah, but he didn't try to drop a colony. I mean, that's as cool as you can get in UC.
No, but he wanted full dominion, and that's the reason why he dropped Axis. I mean, he dropped Axis because
he dropped Axis because people were poisoning the Earth. So
Yeah,
he wanted to get people off Earth and then evolve them.
But it was also social responsibility.
marriages.
That's why he
He's
sits
the wife
back
of
and
that.
it's like, Amuro, stop me. I'm going to do a bad thing. Because he knew it, but he's like, I'm socially responsible to carry through with my plans.
And that jackass Amuro gets flipped over his seat at some point. God, the end of that movie really fall apart. Which, here's a good question. Is this podcast going to be, spoiler free or?
I don't think it can be.
Yeah, I don't think it can be.
Especially maybe if there's newer stuff, we'll try to be spoiler free. But definitely for older stuff, it's been 30 years. Get the fuck on it, guys.
All right.
All right, so the final question. This is from Neon, which is a member of a podcast.
Who's also a ginger now.
Yeah, Ginger Neon. What Sentinel design is your favorite?
Refined
I definitely like, what was he called?
I mean, the Deep Striker reminds me of myself in so many ways.
Deep Striker, hands down.
Actually, no. I really love the EXS Gundam.
I really liked Bastion. He was a really cool one. Like, he was a sentinel in like a human's body, and he fought the X-Men.
Can fuck
that was
right
really
off.
Cool. Nimrod, another good mentionable sentinel.
I feel like there's another Sentinel I should be remembering. I'm not.
Astromold.
I mean, if
The Sentinel that you give your dogs to prevent heartworms?
yeah, I guess. I guess my dog has heartworm. The Sentinel numbers in Java are also pretty good. Those are pretty good. No one's gonna get that though. Let me see. Oh yeah, and there's also a P Bandai of the EXS Hummingbird, which is like $200. So I'll never have that.
Yeah, but like, all right. So if you're gonna buy an EXS, you buy the what is it now, $3,000 resin kit. That's fucking 172 scale.
I buy that, and then no children are ever allowed to come anywhere near that ever.
Yeah.
Or
Just
deer.
rope it off, and that's it.
I have to. No, because the ropes didn't even save that one.
Oh wait, actually, I have a better answer now. Now that I think about it, I like the refined Bartzam a lot, but it's just a Bartzam on Mark II, Mark V, the Mark V Gundam.
Ooh, Mark V is a great suit. I like that head is tight.
Oh my god, the Mark V is like one of like, it's such a weird looking Gundam. It's so good. Like, if I could get a kit of the Mark V, I'd be really happy. That would be a really good kit if we got that.
Again, there is a resin kit of it.
Yeah, I know there is. There's a resin kit. Everything.
There's a resin kit for everything.
You know.
I mean,
there's a group of people that
isn't.
breathe cancer fumes every day so that we can have our freaking Pisces mobile suit.
Yeah, they're Chinese. They do it anyway.
I didn't say anything about them being Chinese. I said Pisces.
I mean,
Like
they
it.
basically evolved to breathe cancer at this point.
There's a Mark III. We're only 2 away.
Well, yeah, I guess we do have the Mark III. But the Mark IV has never happened. Really fucking.
I would take a
It's so big.
a She over a Mark V.
What, a Cassie?
The XI
Yeah,
from
the Cassie.
Hathaway. Is that
Yeah,
how you say it?
you-
Cassie?
Yeah, Cassie.
Yes.
There's a third-party kit of that,
Yeah, which is actually really good.
and
actually
it's as
really
big as a
good.
master grade.
Because that suit is like 36 meters.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's such a cool suit though. The Cassie is such a cool suit.
If you're not a trash builder, then the third-party kit is completely serviceable,
Nice. Okay. Good to know.
and it's only like I think $45.
Yeah, it's not expensive at all.
It's not bad.
And the way it's built is basically master grade level anyway. Like it's got an inner frame and it's got outer armor and stuff.
Huh.
So you're definitely getting your money's worth for it.
Yeah, it's good to know. I like the fact that it's got an inner frame too. Yeah, so we plan to release these monthly, probably towards the end of the... No, I'm sorry, toward the beginning of the month. The episodes will be out. We'll be recording towards the end of the month. It's going to be enough time to edit and get everything up and running. And towards the end of each episode, we will leave you guys off with a little audio drama from current RPs that have happened. I might do a actual current one that's in progress to kind of make it like a monthly episode type deal. So who knows?
Hey, if you have input on what you would want to hear, whether it's our alternate Universal Century or our alternate Iron-Blooded Orphans, or even some of our Build Fighter stuff, let us know. Pap would be more than willing to do a reading of whichever one has the most interest, right?
Yep, 100%. And then likewise, if you guys have any questions you want to shoot at us, typically right when we're about to record, I'll give a heads up in the Discord saying ask your questions. I'll be setting up a Twitter account also for the Gunpla Test Team. But yeah, if you have any questions at all, PM any one of the guys, Hero, Joe, Ham, myself, Sly, or Neon, and we'll get them up and running in the podcast.
Please send your questions to bfspodcast@discord.com.
BFS podcast at livejournal.com.
GeoCities.
Well, yeah, we'll get our web ring up and running soon. Don't worry, guys.
Oh man, can we steal the Diablo 1 pentagram and just splash it all over the website?
The fire effect.
Mm-hmm.
If you like, we will also link to the Space Jam website, and we will coincide with it until it goes down.
So if you're interested in what you can listen, if you like some of our whip ideas, you can follow us on Twitter, because we post work in progresses unless you're Hero, in which case you just post pictures of Zorn. You can follow me at More Materia Company on Twitter. That's at More Materia. That's MORMATERIA. Yeah, that's it.
Good job.
I try and post whips daily, but that doesn't happen. So get what you get and you like it.
You can follow me at @andthehero_is, all one word, Twitter. You will get a lot of different Japanese builders coming at you, people who make me feel like I'm a shitty builder. And you will also get a lot of anime titties, if that is your thing as well. And occasionally I will post something that I'm working on, too.
You can follow me at Sumo Fatty-san. I will, when I finish, I don't really post whips on Twitter. I'll post them in chat. But when the suits are finished, I'll always post them. And if you like retweets of Black Twitter, as I am a black man, you will enjoy my Twitter.
Black man living in a weeb man's body.
You and I need to post more cookies.
And you can follow me at Mr. Paptimus Prime at my Twitter. where I post absolutely nothing all day because I'm usually working or being a dad. But occasionally, I put work in progresses up and don't tag people.
Would your child also count as a work in progress?
He makes children like I build grazes.
I do. It's a thing.
Once every 9 months.
Alright guys, thank you very much for listening. This is the Gunpla Test Team, signing out. Stories of the past. Blutiger rabbe undergravit. The darkness of space, a sight that had become commonplace in the last 80 years, yet it had not lost the empty feeling that came along with it. Even as the flashes of all-out warfare lit up the debris-filled darkness, Ronan felt the emptiness of space. The catapult lights flashed as his mobile suit locked into place. The light shimmered off the navy and black paint.
Ronin masses, Haimo Gyan, launching.
December 31st, 0079. New Year's Eve, in the Federation's all-out assault at the space fortress of Boaku. The Principality of Zeon had been pushed from Solomon, and were making the last stand against the Federation forces, and Ronan was no different from the rest of the soldiers. The Crimson Hawk's leader, Dozel Zabi, had lost his life at the Battle of Solomon, and Ronan commanded what was left. He quickly cut through the battlefield with his Gyan, falling one enemy after another with his beam jab. This Gyan's forte was continuously moving, using its speed to its advantage to kill its enemies quickly. He was searching for one thing, the Gundam. The thing that would swing the war in one direction or the other. Specifically, the Gundam piloted by the Federation officer Trace Stark, the man whose life would be taken by Ronan. The man who he had deemed his enemy regardless of ideology, and one that he would dispatch without prejudice. He continued his path through the battle, making his way to the center of the conflict, racking up kill after kill. It had seemed that both sides had deployed even the least experienced soldiers to try and win this fight. Both sides were betting on sheer numbers. But he knew that the Gundams were the Federation's true trump cards, and if you could take even one out, that could turn the tide of battle. In an instant he spotted the target he was looking for, and a swath of emotions flowed through him. Regret for not killing him sooner, shame for not protecting Sarah's life, and anger for the fact that he kept living, and she didn't. The thrusters of the Gyan flared up and he went straight towards the Gundam, betting his entire existence on beating it. The Gundam fired its weapon into a dome. The powerful beam left the barrel at lightning speed and tore through the armored mobile suit with ease. Its golden eyes flashed as it turned to face the incoming Gyan. The sound of mechanics working rang out inside the cockpit of the suit, were drowned out by the alerting sound of an approaching mobile suit. Stark's mind was already racing. The sense of the various new types on the battlefield baffled him, but he managed to keep his mind on the game. His eyes focused on the markings of the suit. The insignia of the Crimson Hawk screamed proudly as the mobile suit's thrusters burned like wildfire as it streaked across the battlefield. The Gundam raised its arm, and Stark grit his teeth. With the way the Gyan was moving, there was no talking to him. No, not in the slightest. The enemy pilot's intent was clear, even without Stark's ability. Victory at all costs. Murder without regret. The sweet taste of revenge. The Grey Knight, as many of the Zeon forces called Stark and his Gundam, pulled the trigger. The pink beam once again leaving the barrel of the advanced beam rifle. Perhaps Stark was filled with his own desire for revenge. This man did kill Sinclair after all. Ronan dodged the beam, letting hit a Zaku 2 behind him. His focus was no longer on the battle around him, but on the person in front of him. He quickly hit a few buttons in the cockpit, and the Gyan's shield began spinning up and let loose a volley of needle missiles at the Gundam. They weren't effective at completely destroying a mobile suit. They worked well as cover for a follow-up attack, especially at the speed he was moving. Using the smoke from the tiny explosions, he charged in with his shield, slamming it into the side of the Gundam.
It's time for you to die! You have no place on this earth anymore. Even if it's my last dying breath, I'll make sure you're dead!
As the smoke cleared and the two separated due to the force of the shield bash, Stark looked at the Gyan, leaving a slight dent but nothing more to the full armored Gundam. a deep anger filling his stomach. He gripped the controls tighter before pushing them forwards, the blue thrusters faithfully igniting, sending the high-mobility Gundam rocketing towards its foe, shield raised. What gives you the right to decide that, huh? Because of you and your faction, my family died. Innocents on that colony died. Sinclair died! The large shield slammed into Gion with a swat, knocking it back with a forceful thud. The golden eyes of the Gundam peered mercilessly towards its foe as once again it turned its body sideways and raised its rifle within the second of knocking the Gion back. The barrel lit up once again as the rifle fired, the pink beam brimming with electricity in a red core. He barely dodged the second shot from the beam rifle. It missed his waist by a hair, the heat from the shot warping the armor. Ronin could feel the heat in his normal suit and grimace.
What gives you the right to be so self-righteous? You think the Federation treats our innocent civilians any better?
He said as he charged forward again, this time with his beam lance at the ready. He zoomed around the Gundam, making its extra armor off piece by piece.
Don't think you're the only one who suffered in this war.
Stark glanced over at the diagnostic on his HUD. He could see the Gion was trying to peel away at the Gundam's tough outer armor, and his eyes narrowed. You suffered. Get real. The only suffering that you've been around is the one you've caused. The Gion took a stab at the Gundam's right shoulder. Almost by instinct, Stark pulled down on the flight stick. The Gundam activated its thrusters and propelled itself downwards to avoid the blow.
You don't think I know you? Ronin Masses, newly found leader of the Crimson Hawks, former commander of the A490th Mobile Suit Division stationed in Aswan, Africa. You know, I spent a lot of time cleaning up after your mess, protecting the civilians who were downrange from you in your military operations there.
Stark's face turned stone cold. He flipped the switch and armor plates began to open wide, each revealing row upon row of red-tipped tubes. His eyes narrowed as he pulled the trigger, and the Gundam, arms and legs spread wide, released its payload of dozens of missiles.
You guys didn't give a damn about them, slaughtering whole villages because they said no to your tyranny.
The hatches closed, and the suit holstered his beam rifle, only to quickly have it replaced with a bazooka. He fired off a couple of rounds, adding to the payload he just shot, and then charged forward, once again, shield at the ready.